Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yessik here again, and today I'm going to bring you a mid-length review of Costume Quest. This game is right now in a bundle pack for Steam where you can get Castle Quest, Psychonauts, and Stacking for, I think it was $20? Anyways, basically this is a RPG in the almost traditional JRPG format, but with a bunch of kids trick-or-treating on Halloween. I've done a bit of editing here to make sure that it isn't way too boring, because I got a lot of beginning game edits here, a lot of beginning game footage, and you know RPGs in the beginning of the game. Basically what you have to do in this game is go trick-or-treating at a bunch of houses. And these houses will do one of two things. They will A, give you candy, B, start you fighting a monster. Monsters have apparently taken over your town and are collecting candy at all the houses. I don't exactly know why they're doing this yet, but they're definitely doing it. So basically, you just got to see me get my first companion. And the main gimmick with this game, the main thing, is your costumes. As you see, each costume has special abilities. The robot costume let me rollerblade, and the knight costume lets me put a shield over my head, I'm assuming because at some point I get pelted. So here's one of the first things that can happen in the game. You open a door and you get candy. So not very exciting, which is why I've edited a decent amount of this video and have these horrible transitions around. And before I even show you any combat, we're going to buy some battle stamps at this shop here, after I mess around with the controls. I find the controls a tiny bit awkward. I feel like I should be playing with a remote and not with a console remote and not with the keyboard, because remote kind of has a natural layout for RPGs. You know, triangle goes into the menu, start to pause, and this does not have that natural layout. You use random buttons for the QuickTime events, which always confuse me. You use space to skip dialogue, or sometimes to pause the game, which is why you'll notice me in cutscenes occasionally pausing instead of skipping dialogue. And basically I find the menu system a bit unintuitive. I can't get into it without thinking. So here I'm just going to equip this new accessory that I got, and I tried to equip it to both my characters, but that doesn't work. You can have one accessory equipped to one character. So I decided to give it to the dude dressed as a knight, because that seems like a power build to me. So as you can see, there's treasure chests, there's searchable items, there's a lot of the basic RPG tropes that you'll encounter in almost every RPG. But there's also a few new elements. They have a quirky sense of humor. They have a weird concept going on. They have sort of a cool tone going on in the background with the music and the threatening music every time a door is about to open. So these are some of the goblins that come to attack you. And as you see, when the fight starts, I turn into a giant robot. My friend there turns into a knight. And we get these battle sequences in what I would call a comic book style. So as you can see, I failed horribly there because I was tapping space because I couldn't quite properly see the shift button indicator there. This is what I mean. I have a bit of a hard time. I'm a console gamer, especially when it comes to RPGs, so I'm just not used to reaching over and pressing random buttons on random places of the keyboard to do QuickTime events. So I just have a hard time with the game. Other than that, the battle system seems to be unique enough. It, as far as I can tell, never gets too hard, because this is a game intended for kids and adults, so they have to have the level of challenge moderate. I just decided to show you that move there, since you should at least see what both my guys can do. So as you can tell, the battle is almost entirely dictated by QuickTime events. You block with QuickTime events, you attack with QuickTime events, and yeah, that's basically all I have to say about battle. you get different costumes throughout, and all these different costumes will have different abilities. The only one I currently know about is the Statue of Liberty that you get fairly early in the game, and to be honest, I can't even remember what that does. So, the other thing that this game has is side quests. So in this neighborhood, there are 6 friends who you have to play hide and go seek with. And this is where, at the beginning of the game, a monster chucked our sister, who's dressed up as Candy, over the door. It's probably her fault for being dressed up as Candy on Halloween. And it made this awful crunching noise when she hit. I'd cut to it, but I've already done the editing of the video and I don't have the clip. So, as you can tell, we have our way too happy about all this crap companion here. Having a good time. That we decided the most efficient way of opening the gate is to trick-or-treat at it. I'm not sure how nobody noticed this crazy gate beforehand, but, you know, I'm assuming most of this game goes on in your imagination, and that we've just lost our sister. Or we could be like a really, really deluded 30-year-old in a lunatic asylum on Halloween. That'd also be an awesome interpretation, but I doubt it's right. So, basically what that date told us is that we can't go through unless we've trick-or-treated at all the houses and gotten all the candy. Well, not gotten all the candy because there's ridiculous amounts of candy. But trick-or-treated at every single house. So some of the houses, they'll just give you their candy. I'm assuming this is fairly late at night because a lot of people are like, oh, you're the last kids of the night, here, have all the candy. And the rest of the houses are filled with monsters. So, I'm just gonna head to another battle here. Can't believe I didn't cut all that. It's all dead air in there. Despite the repetitiveness of the combat system, I do find it quite gratifying. And it is all rather easy, but, you know, there's enough variety in the enemies, enough variety in your moves and your costumes to make it worthwhile. And there's the variety in the stickers. You can change up the combat that way. I always approve when RPGs have a defensive element instead of just attack, attack, attack. I'm kind of a fan of RPG QuickTime events. Let me put it that way. I know some people will absolutely hate me for that, but I like their involvement. I think it adds an element of it adds a bit of skill to the overall boring system of just standing there and mashing buttons. You actually have to be paying attention to the battle and actively engaged to get things done. As you can see, we collect creepy treats there. I have not figured out what those do, if anything. I'm assuming not too much. So, I'm just gonna skip a bit here. And I'm not sure exactly what the next scene is. Oh yes. Basically, I made my way back up to this park area, and I saw this adult here with these things of apples. And he tells us we're in grave danger and that we're being attacked by sugar. So he's running a bobbing for apples concession, I guess you'd call it. And this was a neat little mini game that they just decided to throw at you. I'm not sure why we agree to this. Maybe just because he says go so fast we panic. So basically, we want to go around and grab the apples. As you can tell, I wasn't that good at it to begin with, and I immediately grabbed one with a worm in it. And it's just an extra little mini game that gives you a little reward at the end. I'm assuming the game is littered with these, because it's one of those types of games. One of the games with extra little features, extra unlockables here and there. And a lot of the gameplay, I'm assuming most of the gameplay, is completely optional. And there we go, victory. Almost ran out of time there, but it was only because I was quite stupid. I like that. What do we get for the prize? Candy! Awesome! Aren't you supposed to be against candy? Yeah, it's called positive reinforcement, kid. Anyway, so I decided to head back to this area, and I go back to the battle stamp shop to buy the one more and figure out that there are 4 more. So I'm not sure how often this shop updates or if it's the same shop that you use throughout the game, but apparently revisiting old shops is a good idea. So I buy the counterattack against successful defend and the black cat, and I try to equip both because I'm not quite sure how it works at this point. But apparently each of us can only have one battle stamp equipped. So I went for the extra attack and the counterattack, because counterattacks are awesome. That's a save point there, which I neglected to do, so next time I start this game I'll be starting over from the beginning. So far in these chests I've only found candy or parts to make new costumes. At the beginning of the game we had this initial costume stolen, and we had to remake it, and there were just 3 treasure chests right in the beginning area, so we were never in any danger. Transform back into the robot. Every costume has its own different animation, little thing for intros, but they're mostly variations on what just happened there. And I decided to leave this battle in because I actually managed to hit the QuickTime events with fairly accurately, which I didn't manage to do in the other fights. So, as you can see there's the counterattack that I just bought. I wish the other goblin had attacked me instead. So, as you can tell, the battle's quite fast-paced and frenetic, because there's no waiting for bars, it's just one attack after another. And I do like when RPGs have a battle order instead of active time bars. I think that was a big improvement in the genre. And still not usually adopted by modern RPGs. I'm not sure why. Anyways, for this video, I'd like you guys to tell me if the transitions were too much or too little, if I should just cut to black or cut between them. Because the video's coming to an end, and I have to say one last thing. This was Yessik, and I'll see you guys next time.